Ba ba da ba 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 ba. Good morning, Karen.
Morning, Nick. Good morning, Richard. Good morning, everyone. And we've got our new logo and we've got our new little intro, and we're going to be let loose on a Wednesday morning. How exciting!
I think that is so appropriate. Well, I don't know whether it's appropriate, but it's certainly accurate, that's for sure.
Very true. Very true. I don't know. What have they let themselves in for?
Absolutely. This is Wednesday's Let Loose.
Yes.
How
Oh,
are you,
yeah.
Karen? And did you enjoy Spirit Quest?
I'm I'm very well, and I had a fantastic time at Spirit Quest. It was brilliant. You go to these places, Nick, and you expect to see certain people because you know that they're going, and then all of a sudden you come in. I was going into the ladies, and somebody was coming out, and it was a lady I'd not seen for years, and she used to be involved at West Wickham Church. Her and her mum, and we just hugged each other. And then she said, "Oh, Sue's here as well. That's her sister-in-law." And it was so lovely to see them after such a long time. And that's what it's about. And then I bumped into somebody else that used to sit in my circle, Jane, and that was nice. And it was just brilliant. The demonstrations were amazing. There were some wonderful demonstrating mediums. Uh, Neil and I did two workshops, and we did readings, and we had a good time. The music, the entertainment was fabulous. So much so, I'm going back next year.
Fabulous, fabulous. It's really, really quite strange with the onset of the internet being
Mhm.
very much a part of this way of life, with channels exactly like SPTV. There were people that are in some of my circles, some of the mediums that serve little port. Oh, I'm at Spirit Quest. I'm at Spirit Quest. And I'm thinking, I wonder if they'll bump into Karen. And I'm thinking, yes, it's a bigger thing than that, Nick. It's possible, but it's not necessarily going to be the case. It's just so exciting, though, isn't it, to see
It is.
various different groups of people that wouldn't necessarily have interacted in the past
Mhm.
now coming together in different ways.
Yes, very much so. The weird thing is, I heard about Spirit Quest years and years ago, probably about 20 odd years ago. Well, it's been going 25 years, so probably
Yeah.
about 20 years ago. And, they kept going on about it. And I'm thinking, oh, that, it sounds good. It sounds good. But at the time, I was sort of, you know, doing my studies and sort of going to the Arthur Findlay College. And then all of a sudden, you know, it sort of comes round and I find myself, going there and actually working there. So, it's funny how you hear about something and then years later you find yourself actually at that event, and it's just a lovely family, and it's just so nice, and everybody gets so excited about it. So it was great. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
Brilliant,
Yeah.
brilliant,
So
brilliant, brilliant. Excellent, excellent. So we missed you on Monday, of course, because you were on your way back.
I
That was
was. Yeah.
a riot with Richard coming in and having a chat. As we know, he's in the background,
Yes.
looking after us again today.
Yeah.
Um, and of course, we must say a big happy birthday to Kelly Roquette, who is
Oh.
having her birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, Kelly. And Kelly is, of course, one of our lovely regulars that comes and supports us on SPTV, and she's a big part of the family. So happy birthday and enjoy your birthday, Kelly. Hope you get spoiled and taken out, or do what you want to do today. Put your feet up, watch telly, do whatever you want to do, and celebrate. So,
Yeah,
oh, thank you. She likes the name of the show. So,
yeah,
yes, so do I. So do I, because it's good.
yeah.
It's good.
Sums us up, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, just a bit, just a bit. Well, I certainly let myself loose on that dance floor on Saturday night, Nick.
Oh, I need to be having words with Neil, see if he got videos. In actual
No, but
fact,
Neil.
Richard, you need to be having words to see if he got videos for next week's show on Monday.
No, he didn't get videos, but I have got fantastic photos because the theme, they have a dress up theme, and it was the 80s and 90s. So people go, so, they'd make an effort, and Neil went as Boy George. and our friend Caprice did his makeup for him. And some of my friends, my lovely friends that come to Hackney Point with us, Carolyn and Dawn and Kaylee, Caprice, Mary, they all dressed up as goths, and they looked absolutely amazing. And we also had Jessica Rabbit and Cruella de Vil, because obviously those films were out in the 1980s.
Yes.
So, and they looked fabulous. How Donna walked in the shoes that she was wearing, I just do not know, because they were just so high. But if you look on my Facebook page, there, or there are some photos of the event, and it's just so much fun because you need balance in life, don't you? You need some balance. And it's good to sort of, we focused on all the work during the day. There were some fantastic workshops and talks, and there was some wonderful demonstrations, as I've said. And then in the evening, we all kick our shoes off and just enjoy ourselves. And we sort of we danced the night away. There was a lovely guy, a singer on Friday, and then the lovely group called the Donatones that were on Saturday night, and that was fabulous as well. So there you go. Ah, yes, Linda. Hello, Linda. I saw a picture of you on Facebook. Karen, you look great. Chris Jacobs put it up. Yes, he's got lots of pictures of the event because he was there too. Yes, it was. I went on the Saturday night because it was 80s and 90s. I put a top on that was sort of a bit dynasty-esque, sort of like taffeta and a bit shoulders and puffy sleeves. So with black trousers. So I sort of had that outfit on. But some people just really went to town and dressed up. There was rah-rah skirts, there was leg warmers, there was bunches, there was bows, all sorts of stuff. It was really, really good, really good.
Fantastic. Don't you find though that that's what makes a meeting into a memory? It's the social side of it. I mean, this is something we've played with a lot in Littleport as a church. We have a huge social side. Obviously, there's individual gatherings and groupings that go on together, but we also try every couple of months to go out together as well, just as a group. But when the service ends at 9:15, that's not turfing out time. Sometimes we're there, as Mum will quite often remind me. Sometimes we're there until midnight because everyone's chatting, having a laugh, a cup of tea. And when you're able to let your own personality come out in a church service or a workshop or a function such as Spirit Quest, when the social side comes out, that's when people start getting that more weight of resonance. And I think sometimes that's missing in this way of life. Obviously, it wasn't at Spirit Quest. And you're absolutely right about getting a balancing act, especially in high heels. Trust me, I know. But it is the social side that puts the magic into it, I feel,
Yes,
don't you?
yes, yeah. It is, and also, that's what Heath says, because he spells Quest Quest, and he says you put the U in Spirit Quest because everybody comes together, and it's absolutely fabulous. And he raised a lot of money for charity because he wanted to get it. They raised up to £22,000 over the 8 years they've been raising money for charities, and this year he wanted to get it to 25. Well, he beat it. He got it over 26,000, and he was in tears. It was just so wonderful to see. And he reads out all the charities. And there was about 4 or 5 charities that were sort of going to benefit from this money. And my friend Sandra Stevenson, they have a People's Choice charity, so you can nominate charities, and then they're pulled out of a hat. And it was a lovely lady called Linda. It was her birthday, so Keith called her up and said, "You can choose who gets the People's Choice." And when Sandra got this charity pulled out, she was just so overwhelmed because it meant a lot to her, because it was to do with a friend that she lost. It was a charity that she supported. So, and everybody got emotional, and that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Everybody was. So you work and you give, and other people can benefit from that work. And it's about giving, give and take in life. Sometimes we give, sometimes we have to take support, or charity, and there's nothing wrong with that. And it was just such a lovely community spirit, and I've been going on about the community spirit for ages. And the people that came to mine and Neil's workshop, I was so proud of them because, when you put a workshop together, Nick, they put workshops together, and I'm thinking, oh, is it going to work? Is it going to go down? Because you get a mixture of people that come on the week, some inexperienced, some experienced. And it was lovely because people really entered into it, and there was some fabulous information. And then I went to some workshops as well, and I went to a lovely workshop about palmistry, and Keith Charles did his psychic cop, because he's been working. He did the psychic cop work for years, and he did that, and that was interesting. And then I went to listen to a talk by Colin about his time in America, with the Native American Indians. So you're expanding your knowledge, even, and it never stops expanding, and you never stop gaining that knowledge, you know.
Brilliant. Excellent. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Well, speaking of communities, of course,
Yes.
we have one too. Let's say good morning, kicking off with Oana Stefan. Hi, Nick and Karen and everyone. Good morning to you.
Lovely to see you. That's nice. Oh, we mustn't forget Emily and Sophie.
Absolutely.
Say hello to them.
Definitely hello to you too.
And also, it's Sophie's birthday on Monday, so I hope that she has a wonderful time. And on Monday, I might get Nick to sing happy birthday to you, Sophie.
I might even see if I can find me tutu so she can watch that when she comes back.
Well, I hope that you enjoy your sleepover with your friends on Friday night. There'll be lots of laughter, lots of fun, and I hope your poor mum Terry copes with it all.
Absolutely, absolutely. And good morning, of course, to Tony Coppins. Hi, Karen, Nick, and Richard.
Hello, Angie Sol Corbello. Good morning to you.
Good morning. And there she is, the lady herself, Terry Louise. Sophie and Emily say hello. I will play that to her Monday after school.
Oh, that's lovely. Hello, Terry. I hope that you have a fantastic time. Hello, Rob. Nice to see you.
Morning, Rob.
I think sleepovers, not sure she's going to enjoy it. I think girl sleepovers and boy sleepovers are different. I mean, I never used to hear a peep out of William's mates because they'd watch a movie and then they'd be on the games. But I think it's different with girls. They like to make a noise and dress up and dance about. So I think it's going to be fun.
I used to do that. Linda Hopkins, good morning, everyone.
Now that I would have liked to have seen. Hello, Susie Selby. Nice to see you.
Sorry, I just had a thought that I'm not allowed to share. Sandra Granger, good morning. Welcome to you.
A blessed morning to you, Kate Smith. Lovely to see you.
Morning, Kate. Beverly, good morning to you.
Julie McVeigh. Oh, Australia. Lovely. It's quite late there now, isn't it?
We're going to say it's good evening. And good morning from the Cayman Islands, says Lindsay.
Oh, look at that beach. Diane Lawson, hello. Oh, look at that cute dog.
Oh, hello, hello. There was a dog joined in our circle last night and a cat. Claire Benson, happy birthday.
Jane Jones, hello. Lovely to see you.
Morning, Jane. And joining us all the way from Facebook is Carol Jameson. Us girls are loud, Karen, you mean?
Absolutely. Hello, Carol. Nice to see you.
We are. Lee Mannering, good morning, all from Essex, not too far from me.
Hello, Sam B. Yes, it's good evening from Sam B. And all the lovelies in the chat.
Absolutely.
Christine's back. Hello, Christine. Lovely to see you.
Morning, darling. And Andrew Fleetwood, good morning, Nick and Karen and everyone.
Helen Mansell, hello to you.
I still love that picture of Helen. I really, really do.
I know, it's gorgeous,
Uh,
isn't it?
Carol Livermore, morning, everyone. Good morning to you.
Paul Luke, hello. Oh, our little dog kept popping on
Yes,
our live yesterday. Oh, that's lovely. My dog does that as well. Um,
they went live for the first time on
oh, wow.
SPTV last night doing reads. I managed to catch some of it, and it's on my catch-up list because I was doing a circle. But what I did see, well done, guys.
Oh, that's
I did
lovely.
see the dog. I did see the dog. I was like,
Oh, lovely Lorna Harper. Hello, Lorna, and northeast of Scotland.
and Deborah Stratton says hello too.
Hello, Barbara Duffy. All from Ireland. Lovely.
And Carol's celebrating her dad's 90th birthday today.
Oh, happy
Wonderful.
birthday to your dad. I hope you all have a wonderful family celebration. How nice.
And Pamela Greterex, good morning to you. Must be 12 hours in front of us in New Zealand. It's usually sometimes between 12 and 11, depending on where. Do you know what? I find time zones really weird because they don't run in a straight line, do they?
No, do you know what? I've been meaning to tell you, Nick, for my son has turned into a Time Lord. So I thought
Oh,
you'd appreciate that information because on February the 13th, he was on Pacific time. And then he skipped today because he went over the timeline into sort of like New Zealand, and it was February the 15th. So I said, "You're a Time Lord."
yes. Time travel. Do you know when we talk about things like this, there's this really, really strange concept that I remind everybody about. It's to do with the way the earth spins and everything. Not only are we time travelers, we are also space travelers. People who think that they are stuck in one place all the time or just going back to the same place all the time need to remember that they will never inhabit the same location in space or time again, because not only does the earth move around its circumference, it also orbits around the sun. The sun is orbiting around the galaxy, and the galaxy is orbiting around the universe. This precise location we are in at this point now, we will never inhabit again, because we're literally in relation to the universe, we are traveling at approximately 82 billion miles an hour.
Wow,
No wonder we get a bit dizzy sometimes.
absolutely. Do you know what? I love it when you go scientific.
It has its use. Definitely,
Oh,
definitely,
dear.
definitely.
Hello, Jane. Nice to see you. Yes, all's well
Morning,
with me,
Jane.
and I think it's all right with Nick too.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm spinning around like crazy. I'm
Oh,
spinning around.
dear.
Helen Mansell, right, bear with me. Um, at the weekend, I went out in nature for a long walk on the downs with a friend. Then we both went to a spiritual event for the afternoon. If I hadn't asked her to go for a walk, I haven't had a good catch up and have seen the wonders of the walk and going to the spiritual event. I met so many new like-minded people. It was lovely. Stayed for ages and just chatted to everyone. Went with a smile. Came out happy. Happy vibes and good energy. It's about that community
Yeah,
feel, isn't it? It really,
definitely.
really is.
That's lovely, Helen. So pleased that you had a wonderful time. Sometimes you start off doing one thing and it leads to another.
Yeah.
And I think that's really good. Linda, hello, Linda. Oh
Thanks,
dear,
brother.
he's off on one.
See, sometimes I do get a bit too sciencey. All you got to do is ask the guys at the last workshop I did in the village hall and how I was teaching them on quantum entanglement. That went down a bomb. Um, some loved it,
Ooh.
some not so sure. But it was a good laugh.
Oh,
And
right,
right,
okay.
okay. Um, uh, right, okay. I'm starting to change my mind about my plans for the future. Julie has just said I went to sort out my friend's funeral and saw a Doctor Who coffin.
Oh, I wonder if it was a TARDIS.
I would imagine
Oh
so,
my God.
blue with the panning. Right,
You can
okay,
just see
that's it.
it now, can't you? Right. You better write that one down.
I'm rewriting my will tomorrow. That's it. I'm having a Doctor Who coffin.
You do some quite amazing ones now. My cousin had lions and tigers. So,
So there may be some countries in the world who have not experienced Doctor Who. Doctor Who is now actually going global into a new market, so we might actually help it. Doctor Who is a 60-year-old science fiction show in the United Kingdom based around the story of a Time Lord called just simply the Doctor, because nobody apart from Clara knows his name. We'll have to ask her when she's on next. Clara is the only one who ever found out his real name, and he's billions of years old now. When it first started, he was a couple hundred years old, but he travels through time, putting things right that once went wrong. Oh, sounds like Sam Beckett. But yeah, it's a great. He does seem to pick up younger women on the way round, but occasionally he's picked up a few blokes, and I've got a funny feeling Duty Gatwa may well do the same thing. Because I mean, she was even picking up women when the Doctor was female. Yes, the Doctor can be any gender. It's really really nice. I've just got to say, I think that was brilliant. I've got to go on record, and not just because someone I used to work with used to live next door to Jodie Whittaker. She grew up in the same village as her.
wow.
But yeah, the Doctor can change. Sorry, I've just seen Lindsay's comment. The Doctor can change gender, and every time the actor leaves who plays it, they regenerate into a new one. That's how it's been going 60 years, and you haven't got some doddery old what's it running around. Although to be fair, you know, there've been quite a few of a certain age that are more athletic than the younger ones, which I think is also brilliant. The reason I had a giggle there, Lindsay Wright has said, my coffin will be a Jack in the Box. That should liven things up.
I think
I
we
like
started
your
something
style.
there.
Yeah, I like your style, Lindsay.
Oh, that's amazing. Hello, Ashley. Oh, she says, morning, Nick and Karen. I hope you had a fab time at Spirit Quest last weekend. I did, most definitely. And it's lovely to have you on. So, yes.
Excellent. And morning to Nicola Hender. Good morning to you. Yes. Yes. So we remind you all that on a Wednesday we have a special feature involving sending out our healing thoughts and remembrances. So we've got a special section coming up where we're going to talk about that, and people can share their names and we will read them out. They will also be entered into the Let Loose. Oh, that works. That sounds better than I expected it to. The Let Loose Distant Healing book.
Oh, yes. The Let
Oh,
Loose Distant Healing book. Yes, it's got a nice ring to it.
it really does. So we're going to let loose the healing, plus we'll be giving messages throughout. On one condition, of course, we will be giving messages out if people start sharing. Um, we we don't ask for a lot, really. Sam B, I let loose and liked and shared. I love that.
Oh, well done, Sam. You're
Let
going to
loose.
the top of the class.
You are. Let loose the shares. Um, let loose the shares. Let loose. We need that recorded over and over and over again so that we can have it as a ringtone type of thing. But please let loose the shares. I'm using that, Sam. Well done. Because that's all we really ask for, is just let loose to the world that we are here. I can see this pun's going to go on like a
I've
like
got
a
one. I've got one. Let loose your views. So if you've got anything you want to talk about, let it loose with us and let's see what happens. Oh, this is a good title, Richard. Very good
he did
title.
well. He did well, bless him.
Yes, he
It's
did.
like when it comes to the advert break, we can now say, let loose the VT. I know, but you know what I mean. I'm just getting corrected that
It's
it's.
all right. Yeah, all right. I go back that far. I can remember dial-up. I can still hear the noise in my head.
Yeah, I can. It used to really, really get in my head.
Yeah.
But yes, so there's healing coming up with messages. And as Karen said, let loose your chat. If there's a topic that's burning that you want to let loose on, then do so and we'll join in that community stuff. You can join in by Zoom if you wish. We will be giving messages to both those who are watching and don't want to come on Zoom, as well as those who do obviously want to come on Zoom. And Richard will share that link because I believe I just called it Zoom. I think I've created a new brand name, a
Yeah.
competitor to Zoom, Zoom. Um, LMN. It's one step up from Zoom.
I have to say, when I watched one of the shows when one of our lovely hosts was giving a reading and that the person was sitting there next to them, it was so lovely because you
Yeah.
could see that the recipient's reaction as well as what and it was really nice to see that message going to where it was needed. And so if you want to come on and say hello, um, just come on. And I don't know if you've noticed, but Nick and I forget we're live sometimes because we just chat away and you forget that we're actually on Facebook, YouTube,
Yeah.
and hopefully soon on TikTok. And the only way we can get on TikTok live is if you go on to TikTok and follow SPTV, because when we get 1,000 views, then we can go live on there as well. And to sort of inundate people and show what a good show SPTV is and the quality of the hosts and the quality of our lovely family. We can all bombard them and invade TikTok. You know, we're marching
I love
orders.
that. Invade TikTok.
Invade TikTok. Oh,
Excellent. Yeah,
okay.
go for it. We've already got someone who wants to come and say hello to this Let Loose Wednesday. Um, but yeah, it's wonderful. We'll find out what that person wishes to discuss. And Juliet McVeigh, hello. She's coming
Hello,
on.
yeah.
She's in the green room as we speak, getting ready to come and have a chat with us. But please remember, everyone, do share, 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 and let the world know that spirituality is let loose. Uh, so it's a bit dark and you're muted, love. Um, whilst Richard's discussing with Julia and sorting that out. Oh, there you go. No. Whilst Richard's just discussing with that, just to give people a thought. One of the things that we were discussing last night in our circle was about sound and vibration, and we said something a moment ago about. Uh, Bless you, Tony Coppins. I've shared
Oh,
over
thank
seven
you,
times. There you
Tony.
go.
Thank you.
Thank you, darling. Well done. See, that's the way to do it. Let it loose. Um, we were talking about sound and vibration, and somebody was talking, I think it was yourself a minute ago, about sound and vibration and frequencies. And we were discussing that there's the higher vibrational frequencies and the lower vibrational frequencies, and how some people struggle with one but love another, love that one and struggle with the other, and vice versa. And it got me thinking because we were actually talking about light language, and I'm reminded, of course, that on the Monday show a few weeks back, on the birthday show, in fact, we had the
Yeah,
lovely Lorraine on
yes.
who talked about she briefly mentioned that she did light language.
Mm.
And I will be honest, because full disclosure, because I think it helps with development and growth. There was a time I didn't see any point or purpose in light language. I will be honest, it just didn't resonate with me because of some of the videos I'd seen of it, some of
Yeah.
the stories I'd heard of. But what I've found as I've looked into it and studied it, and it was something that Lorraine said on our show on the Monday that made me think, I've been wrong about this. And we've
Yeah.
had this discussion over the last 2 weeks in Circle. And there has been some really, really positive shifts in opinion. There are some that don't believe they've changed their opinion, but the way it's spoken of has changed just
Yes.
by looking into it and researching it. So an interesting one there as something you might like to talk about at home. Light language and sound and vibration, pure and simple. Because obviously that has a huge impact on this way of life. But we are joined now. I believe we are ready to be joined by the lovely Julia. Julie McVeigh, if you want to unmute yourself, my love, you can come and say hello. We can't hear you, dear.
Are you there, Julie?
We're
The
having
little
a
microphone's off.
bit of a technical
Okay.
difficulty going on. So so what are your thoughts on light language? There we go. Good
Well,
save, eh?
I was like, I mean, to be honest, Nick, I'm going to be honest with you. The only time I've heard of light language was a friend of mine got involved with it. And I thought, what the hell is it? I didn't understand it. I never knew what it was. I thought, what the hell's that?
Yeah,
And it's not really been my thing, to be honest. But I've got, you have to have an open mind in this movement.
yeah,
And what's right for one is right for another. But interestingly, something changed within me, and it wasn't like language, but it was something changed within me a few years ago. I'd always been into sort of like soul, pop music, very sort of popular culture music. And I'd never ever sort of changed my genre of music. And then all of a sudden, I started to listen to classical music. And I started to meditate to classical music or sit in the choir and feel the vibrations of the classical music. So that changed within me, and now I love it.
yeah.
And I've got an open mind. As I said, I went into different things at Spirit Quest because I didn't know about them. And I think if you don't know about them, don't poo-poo it. You've got to give it a go, research
Yeah,
it, try and understand it. And if it's still not for you, that's fine as well.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
I do find new things quite interesting. And I think as mediums and being on here and in life, we have to broaden our horizons and not be so tunnel visioned. And obviously what I'm saying is just my opinion and my thoughts, but I've opened up my peripheral vision, shall we say. I go with the flow, I listen, I do a little bit of research on stuff sometimes, and I think it's good. I think it's good. And then if you still don't want to know, that's fine as well. But at least you tried. At least you can't say, "Oh, that's not for me,"
Absolutely,
when you don't know
absolutely.
what it's like.
Gonna say because I mean I made my judgment based on what I thought it was useful for. One of the discussions that we had last night, which was really really good, one of the circles said the word language is the problem for me, even though it is yeah. Um, One of the things that I think is really really important for it is that how we deem it as light language, as in something that could be understood verbally in the context of language, rather than understood within the soul as a frequency. And this was what Lorraine was saying that kind of got me, understood within the soul as a frequency that can be of healing value. And that's what really, really changed it for me. And of course, we talk about sound and vibration, especially when I go in the sciencey way, all the time. So I think it's brilliant. I really, really do. And although it's not for everyone, and not all of it is for me, I've got to say I won't name names, but I've got to say one of the members of the circle said, well, I have been looking into it, but so far all I can find is inappropriately addressed 12-year-olds. I was like, okay, fine. Um, but yeah, we're actually in, you know what? The community can help. We're on a quest to find more than one man that does light language, because so far we've only been able to find one. Now that's an
What's in,
interesting thought and concept.
it is. What's interesting, I think, like you said something there, Nick, that when Lorraine explained it to me and I looked at it in a different way, and if you've got people that know their subject and know what they're talking about and can break it down, um, then you can understand it. Oh, then you can understand it in a different way if it's
Yeah.
explained correctly. And I think that's important as well in any aspect of what we do: mediumship, healing, light language, uh, connecting with the ascended masters or anything like that. So I think it's important. And as Neil
Yes.
just said, always willing to try new things.
This I have
Um,
heard, especially in a Boy George costume. Sue Lawrence has just said, "Do you think hearing aids can affect vibrations and frequencies?" Actually, that makes a lot of sense,
yes, yes.
especially when you hug someone with one and you end up getting deaf yourself. Um, and it just hurts their ears too. I'm not just complaining about me, but I used to give Lynn a hug because she had hearing aids, and everyone knew she was getting a hug because suddenly there'd be this,
Yeah,
you know,
like the whistle.
the
Yeah,
whistle.
yeah, yeah. It's like we've got in our village in Tilby, the church, we can hear the church bells because it's very quiet. It's quite quiet in this village. And the first Sunday we were here, Oscar's just started frantically barking.
Yeah,
And I kept thinking, what's he barking at? There's nobody there. And all of a sudden, Mike said, the church bells are ringing. But he heard them before we did.
yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely.
our pets can sort of pick up the sound and frequency much sooner than we can, which is quite
Yeah.
interesting.
Absolutely. Anna Stefan says lots of people do light language now. There's lots of groups specifically for that. So, in your experience, have you found more than one man? Because certainly when it comes to online stuff, we've only ever been able to find one male doing it. So, if you could let us know, that would be great because it would save me doing some homework. But we are joined by a guest groupie, a friend, and a community member who may or may not have a question for us. And that is Kelly B. Hello, dear.
Hello, how you going?
Very good,
Fantastic
thank you.
yourself.
How are you? How are
Happy
you?
birthday.
Very well, thank you. Thank you very much.
So you're
Excellent.
live on SPTV on your birthday.
I
Oh,
am. It's lovely to be here as always. I already feel the positive energy just coming my way already.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's
it's
brilliant.
the joys of being with us pair of nut jobs. And poor old Richard in the back suffering so sweetly,
I know. I know.
trying to keep his mind together with some of the stuff that he sees going on in the background, bless his heart. But Kelly, how are you? And do you have a question you'd like to discuss?
I don't have a question exactly, but I used to be in a spiritual group back in my hometown. And there used to be light language and everything like that in the group. And while I didn't understand some of it, half the other parts that I did make sense really, really resonated and that it really provided some sort of healing to me. And I found that there really was an energy surrounding that sort of, I guess, environment as well. So, yeah, what you're saying is really quite interesting. I'd love to sort of know more about it and sort of, I guess, now that I'm a little bit more mature and a little bit older, I'd like to know a little bit more about it and sort of see it from a different perspective.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. In actual fact, I'm reminded, of course, that many different cultures and ways of thinking actually have the same sort of thing. So there's speaking in tongues, there's what people described as gobbledygook. Um, if you look around various different cultures, shaman, priests, prophets, poets, all manner of different traditions have something similar within it. So it is fascinating. And I think you're right there, Kelly. I think that's a really, really crutch of it, is the maturity to accept and deal with it, because it can be a little bit surprising when you first see it, can't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, it can. Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant,
I'm
brilliant.
going to be honest. I mean, I've only ever heard a little bit of it, and that was when my friend did it. And I thought to myself, it really didn't. I'm thinking, what is it? And it didn't really resonate with me. But who knows? Maybe if I went along to something and sat in the vibrations, it's like, there's lots of things that we do that are right for some people and not right for others. I mean, years ago I was never really into drumming or sort of things like that. But then about 4 years ago, just as we were coming out of lockdown, I did some drumming with some friends, and which was also connected with some horses as well. We had horses around us as well, and it was interesting to see how the drumming affected them. And so, I mean, I can't hold a tune. But I just went and I said, so what do they do? And they said, well, just bang the drum and just get into your own rhythm. And I quite enjoyed it. But when I first thought, no, no, it's not for me. And I just went to the church. I did the healing. I sort of kept that structure. And
Yeah,
then you get some people that sort of dip into lots of different things at the same time. I didn't. I did that, and then I sort of carried on with my mediumship, and went down that pathway. But I think it's you've got to listen to what's right for you, and don't be forced into doing anything on your development, and just go where you feel it's the right time for you to progress and then move on to something else. Or some people don't. Some people stay in one particular aspect of spirituality, and some people go all over the place. It's a personal choice, I think. Would you agree, Nick?
yeah, I totally do. One thing that Kelly said intrigued me. Kelly, you said that there were parts of it that offered and gave you healing, and the other parts that. What was the difference? Was there any perceivable difference between the bits that you could and couldn't resonate with?
I think it was the surprise, like you mentioned earlier. There was a little bit of sort of, what's the word? Not so much trepidation, but lack of understanding, if you will, and a little bit of judgment in a way. To be honest, I will be honest there. But I was also very open-minded, so the message that came from it and everything like that was really sort of, okay, this can't all be hoo-ha or anything like that. There's got to be something behind what's going on here. And that's what really sort of opened my mind to possibilities.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Now, Tony Coppins has just said, speaking in tongues, um, uh, especially speaking in tongues, that is different. Is it mediumship only? I think all of these different functions and certainly culturally based nuances and differences, they don't necessarily all sit in the same box, but I think they're all in the same store closet. This is a phrase that I used last night. I hate boxes anyway, but there are certain things that sit in boxes together. There are certain things that might not sit in the same box, but they're certainly in the same storage room. Speaking in tongues can be a gobbledygook-esque type language, or it can be an actual established translatable language. It is all mediumship, though. I've got to say, there was a comment made last night that I think really, really resonates, and I think you guys will probably get this too. So I'm not claiming any ownership of this opinion. I thought it was brilliant. Babies speak a language that is definable by the emotion. There is a coo for I love you. There's a scream for I'm hungry. There's a scream for change this darn thing, it stinks. There's a scream for I want something, I want to sleep now. And as a mother nursing a child, or as a carer who experiences with children, you get to understand
Yeah,
that
absolutely. Yeah.
language, but it makes no literal sense on the level of language. It resonates within you and your understanding emotionally. I'm not a mother, so I can't say that. But
You know, I love that. I absolutely love that. And I've never looked at it like that. But you explaining that makes sense to me, because I would know exactly what William needed when he was a baby. Sometimes by a noise, sometimes by a look. When they get crotchety, when they need to sleep, when they're hungry. And that translates into my dog now. I mean, I know what Oscar needs by his body language, but also the noise he makes. And if you go back, it's interesting with our animal kingdom. They've been trying to understand sort of like the dolphin noises and whale song for years. And animals do communicate with each other through sound. And I sometimes think that we've lost the art of listening, not just with our ears, but with our soul, if that makes sense.
I think
You know?
so.
Absolutely, Karen. I know as a cat mum of 18 years, the amount of sounds that came out of her, and I was able to communicate so well with her, you know what I mean, for so long. And it was just a case of communicating, in different languages other than our own.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Brilliant.
Fascinating, isn't it?
It
You know?
really, really is. It really, really is. Well, thank you for coming on, Kelly. A fascinating conversation as it is. I just wanted to be able to say in person, happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
But yes, thank you so much. That really was cool, and it's nice to hear other people's opinions too. It's
Yeah.
I think that's how we grow. I really, really do. I will confess to at once being extremely closed-minded on certain things, but meeting people such as yourself and everyone on SPTV, among others, has really opened my mind to various different bits and bobs in this way of life.
Yeah, awesome.
Brilliant.
Well,
Brilliant.
enjoy the rest of your day, Kelly.
Thank you so much, Karen, and thanks for having me. And thank you, Richard.
Happy birthday to ya.
Thank you
enjoy
so
the rest
much.
of your day. You haven't got long left of your day,
Oh,
have
you
you?
haven't, have you?
I haven't, no, only about an hour and a half left.
Oh, well, I hope that you've had a good day. I keep forgetting because you're in Australia, but I hope you've had a really lovely day. Done all the
Thanks,
things you
Karen.
want to do. Okay.
Thanks,
Go,
Karen.
Take care.
go,
Take care.
go and have a little snifter for the last hour and a half. We are
Will
supposed to
do.
be sharing spirits after all. There you go. Bless you.
Exactly.
Thanks, Kel. Nice to
Exactly.
speak with you. Oh,
Thanks, Nick.
brilliant.
Bye.
That was
Oh,
Kel B, everyone. Wonderful.
absolutely.
I'm loving this. I really am loving
Yeah.
this, because it just expands the ability for those that are watching to, get more nitty gritty into their opinions. Helen Mansell's just said, I know of a psychic who does this, but I found it hard to understand. It was making my head hurt, so not for me. It was too muddled.
Yeah.
This is the thing. This was where I was, but what the discussions of it have thrown up is that there's the higher sound, so the soprano-esque type light language, and then there are deeper, more lesser octaves, more into the more baritone almost sometimes, that might be something that reaches out to you. And I think when we use the word language, I think that's where it confuses people, because what you said, Karen, was absolutely right. It's not about understanding audibly. It's about understanding in your heart and in your soul and in your emotion. And we don't listen, but even sometimes when we listen, we don't always hear. As a society in general, I think the people we've got on SPTV and the people who are in this way of life do a bit better on that on average, I will admit. But as a world, we don't always listen, and when we do, we don't always hear. And I think that's a symbol of it. But thank you, Helen, because you're not alone with that. You're not alone with that at all.
I think it's interesting if you go back, and I know you know more about this than I do, Nick, but I love going into old churches, and sometimes you hear they play. I went into one, I think it was in Yorkshire with a friend of mine, and they were playing Gregorian chants in the church. Now, it doesn't make sense, but it resonates with you as you're walking around the church, and you hear it, and it soothes you. And if you think about it, for years they've been using Latin in services. People go, don't necessarily understand the meaning, but they go because it gives them comfort. So it must resonate on a different level. All these things that have been happening in religious culture for many, many years. The Native American Indians, they have their own language for certain things. Even in sport, in rugby, you've got the haka that the New Zealand Maoris do when they're getting themselves psyched up to go and play the game. So all these things have been around us for years and years and years. But I suppose we don't think about it. They're just there, and we think, oh yeah, that's what they do. But it's all part of getting psyched up. It's all part of, and I think we've got to be mindful of how that makes us feel.
Yes.
Just
so the haka, I believe, is a Maori tribal chant to basically make the enemy feel bad, to psych them out. That's the word. Thank you. Psych out the enemy. In the case of the rugby, the opposing team. Louise Maru has just said, tongue is a natural spiritual language. You can feel the language when the belief of God is with you. I think that's where we've kind of come to a point, really, isn't it? It's a language you feel rather than a language you listen to. Like with music. And a baby's cry. There's so much emotion in classical music. Ain't no words to convey the emotion of it, but it's there, isn't it? Yeah. So excellent. Can I? Oh, that's so sweet of you, Karen. Thank you. We are going to take a quick break, but please stay tuned, because when we come back, we will be doing the Let Loose Distant Healing. We will be remembering and sending out our healing thoughts. There will be messages, and if you want to come on and say hi, you can do so too, but we will be giving messages to the people watching as well at home who don't come on Zoom. But for the first time, like ever, Richard, let loose the VT.
Introducing the SPTV app, your digital spiritual guide for an enlightening journey like no other. Immerse yourself in a world of audio and visual content crafted to inspire, educate, and entertain. Seek guidance with our card of the day, choosing up to 6 cards for personal insights. Enhance your daily life with our wellness section, featuring nutritious recipes, affirmations, and balanced living tips. Explore our spiritualism section for a deep understanding of the religion, its principles, and spiritual answers. Unravel the secrets of the clairs and broaden your spiritual horizon. Easily find local readers, therapists, centers, or churches with our comprehensive directory. Stay connected with live broadcasts, check our schedule, and get to know our insightful presenters. Delve into the meanings of angel numbers, crystals, and a comprehensive list of divination meanings. All of this and more, available for free on the SPTV app. Download now at sptv.uk/app and start your journey with your digital spiritual guide.
Tonight from 8 p.m, join us for our popular show, Live with Spirit, which offers the opportunity for different readers to demonstrate their mediumship or psychic abilities. Join us tomorrow at 8 p.m, UK time as we welcome Paul Bannister for a captivating live interview and talk show, Spiritual Talk. Tune in for insightful discussions with special guests and live readings that promise to inspire and enlighten.
And we are back. We are back. We are back. Welcome back, everyone. In a little while, we are going to be doing the distant healing, the distant hands onto the screen, sending out our healing thoughts. I've got the book ready, so please, anyone who you know who is in need of healing, you must ask for yourself if in need. That's one thing that I've noticed that I've convinced Tony, our healing leader, on the Thursday night. He now has taken it and ran with it in his own way. Asking for yourself. People don't. Everyone's so, I can't think of anybody's names to put in the healing book because I'm just feeling so bad myself this morning. It's like, your name.
Exactly.
So, if you comment the names of those that you would like to have some healing, we will put them in the book. Please comment. Louise Murray said, I'd love to jump on Zoom, but no camera as hubby is snoring like a horse. Bless you, darling. Yeah. On the subject of sound, very briefly, I once went to a gong bath. The medium we had was Thursday, he did a gong bath in the hall. I laid down and within 30 seconds I was asleep, and apparently I was adding to the vibrational frequency of the room.
Yeah.
They did
sure
say at one
do
point,
that.
They did say at one point they thought that it wasn't the gongs that was going to vibrate the hall to nothingness. It was my snoring. So there we go. So you have my sympathies, Louise, and your husband has my sympathies too, because I understand what it's like. But we are going to do a couple of messages now before we do the healing, and then messages afterwards as well. Blessings to you too, Lynn Palmer. Blessings to you too. So one thing that I do have to say, if you're at a loose end on what to do tomorrow night, if you are in the Havant area, I've got a lovely guy called David Trainer doing a demonstration at 8 p.m. in the Havant Rugby Club tomorrow night. Tickets are still available, so if you are in the area or close by or visiting and want something spiritual to do, go along and see David Trainer. He comes highly recommended by someone who's very stubborn with their recommendations. So definitely worth a look there. And you know what? If you're unable to make that, then obviously tomorrow night there's the wonderful Paul Bannister. He used to serve my church. Well, I think we've got him. We're trying to book him on one of his alternate weeks because he's not as able to serve us anymore because he now works on SPTV because our services are on a Thursday night. But I think Mum's working with him to find one that's available on an alternate week, which is cool. But yeah, I do know Paul reasonably well, very well. In fact, we've chit chatted on more than one occasion. So a great show on SPTV tomorrow night. But if you are in the Havant area, go and have a look at David Trainer, and then you can watch Paul on catch up afterwards.
Exactly. That's the wonder of SPTV, because you can do that. You can watch it on catch up, which
Absolutely.
I'm going to do with the Living Spiritually show with our lovely girls. So I'm going to be watching that on catch up. So you can go out, see David Trainer, go to churches. And Linda's just said she's got him again. Oh, well,
yeah.
there you
So
go then.
she's sorted out one of the alternate weeks. So Paul Bannister will be serving one of our Thursday nights, and of course they can be watched on catch up too.
Well done.
You know what? Speaking of shameless plugging, can I just say that not only have we got the distant healing book that's being used as the let loose healing book, um, shameless plug time, because Richard said I could. I have some books available that help us with our spiritual journey. It's not about content; it's about you creating your content. There's the distant healing book, which you can fill in for yourself or all those who are in need of healing. That's available in paperback only. No, it's available in paperback and hardback from that link just at the bottom of the screen. And there are some rather uplifting healing quotes intermittently mixed within the pages too. But it's also got a couple of prayers in, a bit of a blurb about the silent minute that we do online every night. And that's a one, because I wanted to give something back. And the distant healing book, in all of the centers and all of the churches, no matter the history, they always, always, always have a healing book. And I just thought that's what unites us, the healing. And then, of course, there's the other two, which are journals. Once again, you make your own story. The one with all of the big words in, the one with the lots of words, is nearly finished. So my book on philosophy is nearly done. So I will definitely go for a big plug on that. But thank you to Richard for allowing us to do that. In the meantime, whilst people are commenting the names of those who they'd like to be put in the healing book, so shall we do that before we do a message, Richard? Let's do some healing, and for your turn this time, because we've got something for it.
Let loose, Richard, with the VT. Oh, that's beautiful.
It really, really is a nice way of bookending the healing, isn't it? So the names that we have got to send out our healing thoughts to, and everyone can join in with this, of course, send out your healing. So first today, out of the stacks is Angie Sal Corbel. Please pray for 11-year-old Audrey Cunningham. She was found in Texas yesterday. Oh, bless her. Yes, definitely. Sending not just to her, but all of those that know and love her.
Yeah, definitely. That's very sad. Claire Benson says, healing prayers, please, for my mum, Mari, and brother Martin, who have both been diagnosed with cancer, and also remembrance for my dad, Brian, who passed 40 years ago with cancer. Oh. May I add someone? It's my friend Maggie. It's her son, Sean. He's just been diagnosed with lung cancer. So if we can send healing for Sean and Maggie, because she's devastated. We have Nolene Parker, healing for my mum, Kathleen Bell, and myself, please. Of course, Nolene. As Nick said, we have to remember about looking after self too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Helen Mansell, my mum, Josephine. Certainly, we will send along to her too. Healing on the way there.
Oh, Kelly Rocket, I'd love to have my father and myself in the healing book, please.
Absolutely.
Juliana McVeigh, healing for my mum, my sister, and me, please. Do you know what's fascinating about the healing is we used to do the absent healing book in the churches, and we used to get the feedback from the absent healing. It used to be amazing. Sylvia
Yes.
Raffin, myself, Sharon, Tommy, Sylvia, and Colin, please. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Oh, then we've got Helen Smith would like some healing for herself as it's been a tough year. And now she's clearing out the house and tears have been flowing. Grief is hard. Yes, it is, Helen. I understand that. It is hard because you get all those memories. So lots of healing and love for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Terry Louise, remembering my dad, Brian, Grandma Gladys, Granddad Albert, Nana Alice, Granddad Brian. Yeah. How would I pronounce? My mind. Yaya Sonia. I thought that's how I should pronounce it, but I don't want to mess people's. I'm really, really fussy about getting people's names right. Yaya Sonia, best friend Laura, and all my other family members in spirit. Bless you, of course.
That's lovely, Terry. And of course, if it is anybody's heavenly birthday or you want to remember someone, then you can. And our Neil wants to send healing for Michelle Payne, Keith Charles, Bill Rich, Raph Rapson, Cammy Golden. So, yeah, I think Keith and Bill were a little bit poorly after Spirit Quest. And Linda
Yeah,
wants Stuart Johnson because he has cancer. Well, don't worry, all the healing will go out to where it is needed as well.
absolutely.
Tony
Tony,
is sending healing for her emphysema stage 4, please, and my neck and right shoulder in pain. Thank you so much. That healing will go out to you, Tony, where it's needed. Christine wants to send healing for her friend Carol. She is going through the last stage of treatment for breast cancer.
and Lynn Palmer, my friend who lost her son in a car accident 3 years ago. You know, 3 years sounds like a long time unless you've experienced that loss 3 years ago, and it's like nothing. It's like moments when you go through that. So absolutely, yes.
Oh, that's lovely. Oh, Anna Stefan wants to send healing for the whole world and Mother Earth herself, please. Myself and her family. So that's healing for her and her family. But the world and Mother Earth does need a little bit of help at the moment. I think the people on it need to understand um, and celebrate this wonderful world that we are part of.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you to all for sending out your healing thoughts. And please be reminded that I will be going through, and anyone that hasn't been mentioned or is added later on will go in the book after the show. I did last week, and I'll do the same again, both on Facebook and on YouTube. So thank you, everyone. And
That's
that's
lovely.
our healing moment. And we are back to give out messages from the great beyond. I can just imagine the toffee crisp falling down from behind me as we speak. Cultural reference, anyone who's old enough to remember that advert for the toffee crisp. It was Grandma off of the royal family, wasn't it? She sat round a table.
Yes.
Is there anybody there? And an empty toffee crisp wrapper comes falling down from the light shade. Always
It was
loved that.
Liz Smith. Liz Smith.
Liz Smith. Liz Smith. Yes, absolutely. So VIPs, let us know if you are out there wanting a message and come on. But how do you want to? Do you want to go first, Karen?
You can go first if you want to. I don't mind. I don't mind because, um, you know, sometimes when we're doing the healing time or when you're sort of like you're making yourself you're thinking about that, you can connect to that emotion of spirit. And I'm aware of a father here, and I feel that he wants to talk to his daughter. And I also feel that he really struggled a bit because I feel it was cancer, but it sort of spread quite rapidly around his body. And I want to go to the chest area first, but I also feel it went to his stomach as well. And and I know we just mentioned the name Liz Smith as the actress, but I'm hearing Lizzie, so I don't know if anybody would understand that name connected. I don't know if we've got any Lizzies on here, but I just feel that this dad, he's a very gentle man, and he sort of didn't like to make a fuss. And I feel that when he was actually diagnosed, he was far more poorly than people thought because he was a very private dad, um, and he didn't like to talk about himself. I feel that he did a lot for others, not just his family, but for his friends and neighbours as well. And I get the sense that he also lived in the same house for quite some time too. And he loved his area where he lived, and he was known in his area where he lived. But he's just such a very calm man, I want to say, very calm. So this makes it sounds like your father-in-law, Paul. Okay. So but I also feel there was a philosophy with him. Yeah, I hike him. I just feel there was a philosophy with him where you sit down and he would sort of like understand you and give you not a reading, but he'd just give you some words of inspiration or guidance. I want to say some guidance. And if I am with you, Paul, would you understand when he did that to you? When he actually sat with you and you were just having a cup of tea with him or a drink or something, and all of a sudden the words that you needed to hear were there out of his mouth. But he was a sort of gentleman that I don't feel that he travelled a lot. You can take that. That's brilliant. I don't feel that he travelled a lot. I feel that he was happy in his own environment, but I do feel here as well there was a connection with nature. And I'm hearing birds, and I feel that when he was well, he liked to walk. And there must have been some hills or a hilly area where he would walk up, because I've got him sort of striding out, walking around the town, around the countryside as well. And he was very diligent about what he did in his life, and I feel that he worked very, very hard, and sometimes got taken advantage of, shall we say, within the workplace because he was a giver. There's training with him as well. I feel he trained youngsters, I want to say, to do the job, or he gave them all right, that's good. You can understand all this. That there's a connection with youngsters. So I don't know if he did work within scouts or he took on apprentices or something like that. But I just feel he had an affinity with young people, especially young people that may have not known, sort of been a little bit struggling, understanding. His house was on the hills in Scotland. Okay, I just feel that he would always have time for people that were struggling. That sometimes other people would have written off. Oh, you don't want to talk to him. He's sort of going down the wrong path. Because I just feel that your dad always gave everybody the benefit of the doubt. I also feel he had quite a sweet tooth because he liked a biscuit, because I've got like a crunchy oaty biscuit that he's putting in my mouth. So I feel he had a bit of a sweet tooth. Okay, what else are you showing me here? Um, he wants to give support to you. And I feel that you've been sort of wishing that he was around to have that guidance. And he said, I am around to give you that guidance. The ideas and the thoughts that come in your head sometimes, I'm sort of trying to help you. And also, I feel that you've started to walk, and I feel you think of him when you walk. I don't know if you've wanted to get a little bit fitter lately, Paul, or you've been wanting to do something different, but I feel he wants to move you forward, and he wants you to keep going, and about confidence within what you're doing now. And he's really, really proud of you. Hobnobs. That's it. I knew it was crunchy and oaty. I must admit, I quite like a hobnob. So, but oh, he's coming on. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, that's lovely. Well, we look forward to having you on. But I just feel that he just wants to sort of give you a little bit of support. So he's just Paul's just going to come on, and he's just connecting to audio. So we're going to have him with us in a minute. Now,
There you go.
lovely, lovely. So and I'm just aware that something about his eyes as well. I don't know if he had some eye issues, Hello, Paul. Welcome to Let Loose. Can you unmute? Can you unmute?
Unmute yourself, love. That's it.
Right, unmute. That's better.
There you go. Hello, mate.
Hello. Oh, your dad's laughing because he thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Would you understand where little things would make him laugh? Where sometimes they wouldn't make other people laugh, but they'd make him laugh. He had a sort of funny, quirky sense of humour. And would you understand the bit I said about his eyes? Because I was just drawn to your glasses, so I feel there was something about his eyes towards the end of his life.
Yeah, he
Um,
had cataracts.
I don't think he liked glasses. He didn't like glasses, and I'd feel he would take them off and say, "I don't need these. I don't need them." That's what he's making me aware, and he's also
Definitely.
making me aware here that that somebody would have sat on them, because I feel he used to always leave them on the sofa. So I don't know if he sat on them.
Yeah,
But
my mother-in-law, Luke's mum, was always sitting on them. He'd put them in particular places so they get broken or something because he hated
all
them.
right. And I just feel I don't need them. I don't need them, until he was going in the cupboard to get something else and thinking, "What's that?"
Yeah,
But
definitely.
you know what? He really didn't like getting older. It was hard for him to come to terms with, because he said, and I feel that his mind was okay. It was just the illness, the cancer, and everything. And I just feel he got very frustrated with it. Would you also understand that he didn't particularly like something about the treatment? There was a time when he didn't want. He said, "Enough. I want
Yeah,
enough." You understand
yeah,
that? I don't want this treatment anymore. And I feel that you and the rest of the family were trying to say, "Oh, come on, you've got to give it one last shot." Because he said it made me feel, the treatment made him feel worse than the actual illness.
yeah, definitely, yeah.
You understand that? Do you know? But he just wants to give you a little bit of support at the moment. And I feel that he says sometimes you don't listen when that support comes.
Yeah,
Do you
true,
understand that?
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
And I do feel that he could be quite subtle, but then
Yeah,
sometimes he would sort of give you a bit of a kick up the bum when you needed it. Do you understand that?
definitely, definitely.
Now, would you also understand where somebody baked their own bread, Paul?
Yeah, I used to bake the bread.
Yeah, because I feel that he really liked that, because he's shown me a beautiful piece of fresh bread with butter on it, and it's still warm, so the butter's soaking.
Yeah,
And he said he absolutely loved it, although he wasn't supposed to eat it because it upset him. It used to
yeah,
give him a
yeah,
little bit of pain, especially when he wasn't very well. But
yeah,
when he felt rough, he's also making me aware that he lost a sense of taste
yeah,
when he was going through part of the treatment. And before he would go for the treatment, he would always have the bread and butter, and
yeah.
also cheese. He was a bit of a cheese man, I want to say as well.
He
You
used to eat
understand that?
a block of cheese with a raw onion.
Oh, lovely.
Uh, he'd eat raw onion like an apple
Yeah.
with a block of
So he's
cheese.
got this cheese. He's got this cheese, and I feel it was like the cheese used to disappear out the fridge. Who's eating all that cheese? And he'd sit there with a little smile on his face, because he was a little bit cheeky. I want to say he was a
Yeah,
little bit cheeky. So
definitely, definitely.
he's just here, and he's saying, "Will you please polish your shoes, young man?"
I always get Luke to actually do my shoes, so he's telling me
Because
I've
I
got to
do
actually.
feel there was a ritual with your dad, because he's gone to the sink he's gone to the cupboard under the sink, and he's got his little shoe polish kit, and that would have been done on Sunday mornings. Do you understand that? Sunday mornings, shoe polish morning.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
And he loved to be smart. He really loved to be smart. And he says that you've got that from him, because I think he drilled it into you when you were a child. Do you
No,
understand that?
this is Luke's dad.
All
It's
right.
my
Right.
father-in-law.
Okay.
So, but
Okay.
yeah, Luke is actually agreeing, and he always
Right.
loved going round in his kilt and all that. And
Yeah.
at his funeral, we all wore the kilts in
Right.
memory of him.
Would you also understand that he would have marched at one point? Because I've got him marching, something about a marching band or something like that. Does that make
Yeah.
sense to you?
Yeah, yeah. I'll pass you to Luke a minute because he can tell you
Okay.
more.
Hello, Luke. Does that make
Hi, Luke.
sense? Does that?
Yeah, Dad had an affinity with the military. He
Right.
couldn't serve himself. His
Yeah.
brother did, and he used to attend all the military parades that
Right.
he could, and also pipe band championships, and would make a point of
Okay.
marching behind the pipe bands.
Right, because I've got him marching, so I knew it was something about him marching, and it was really important. And I also feel that he was quite a stickler for time. So if you were all having to be out as a family, he would be ready first, and he'd be herding the troops, so to speak. Come on, we've got to be there at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And you had to be there just before 10, not after 10, because I do feel he was a little bit of a stickler for time as well.
Oh,
And
yes.
2 o'clock, I feel was like the time you had your Sunday lunch at 2 o'clock. And I just feel that
Mhm.
if it's not Sunday lunch, I know that 2 o'clock is important to him. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So
That was
so
the
it,
bewitching hour.
right. So I just feel Nick's now hungry, says Eunice. I just feel that he's very, very proud of you, and he just wants to send his love. And he's just saying, keep your head held high and just be confident in all that you do. All right. So take his love. Take his love.
Well, dear, thank you very, very much. It's lovely to hear from him.
Well, it's my pleasure, and thank you for coming on and receiving that message from your dad.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Brilliant.
Lovely
And
to
it's
see you.
nice to finally actually meet both of you properly now as well.
Yes.
So thank you
Yes.
for coming on.
Yeah.
You don't get one without the other. That's why they call us double trouble.
Absolutely.
And welcome to the SPTV family.
It's always a pleasure, and it was a great honour for us to work for you for the first time yesterday evening.
It's brilliant.
Lovely.
Brilliant.
Lovely.
And I love the way the dog just came in on that reading. It was like, Dad, can I actually come and be on screen as well? Thank you.
Oh yes,
Very,
all
very
of them.
affectionate.
All of them three dogs absolutely adored my dad. They followed him round like a pack of lost sheep.
Oh, that's
bless
lovely.
him,
That's lovely.
bless him. Oh. 800.
Wow.
Wow,
Wow,
brilliant.
that's amazing.
859. Excellent stuff. That's excellent. Well, thank you both for, I say both. Thank you all three for coming on, because we mustn't forget Doggy. But
Absolutely.
thank you for coming on, because it really does make a difference to see the reactions to the messages, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Oh gosh, yeah, definitely when it comes to dad, because he's always got something to say.
Definitely.
Definitely. He is a lovely man. I want to say he is a lovely man.
Yeah, he always had words of wisdom for something.
I got that impression. Wise
Yeah.
words and a very calming feel about him. So thank you.
Excellent.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Definitely.
So, my turn. Right, quick rinse. I've got to admit, I have had a lady sitting with me for a good few minutes now, because she's telling me off for the way I sit and my posture already. I've been getting a lecture this whole time. And I feel that the way she would have sat would have been very, not unique as in no one would ever sit like her, but actually the way she sat was very unique and really, really weird to me. Her legs would have been, closed and to the side and crossed at the ankle. So sat properly, as she put it. I mean, it's really, really doing my back in, if the truth be told, because I'm not used to it. But she would have been very tall and upright. And the way she's showing herself is the way she's sitting. The legs are closed tight, crossed at the ankle, slightly to one side. She had this wonderful green, either skirt, it is a skirt, not a dress. Green skirt that matched the suit jacket. I mean, she's the proper whole 9 yards. Quite a thin lady, very toothy grin, thin face. She had these wonderful curls on the top of her head, what I prefer to call silver reversed highlights. So there was a hint of it there. She had a very enigmatic smile, and I can even feel, oh, Richard will be very, very pleased because I can already, yeah, thank you for that. I can already feel that she's even making me speak properly and the Queen's English. So it could be, oh, here we go, that the T's are actually starting to come out properly, Richard. I know you'll be happy with that, won't you, darling? And the way she is speaking, the way she's behaving, the way she's interacting with me, I've got to say, unless it was in her own home, she was a medium. She was a medium or someone who would fulfill that similar role because she knows exactly what she's doing with me, and it's almost she's just showing the strings. It's like I'm the puppet now. She's just making use of me. She's very. Terry just said, "Is it the Queen?"
The Queen.
No. I
Oh,
I will just say I would recognize the vibration of the Queen because I actually did meet her and have a chat with her and her husband once. So I would recognize that energy. I don't recognize this energy. But no, I can see where you're going with that because the curls on the top of the head. This lady had a really, really big, yeah, the same. I can see where you're going with that. But I feel that this lady would have been a medium, and she was taking a great interest in the talk about healing because she was hanging around. And I did have to cut. I got some names, and I don't very often get names, so I want to share them that would be either in connection to her or the person that I want to speak to. I've got the name Robert, I've got the name Neil, I've got Lillian and Field. So where and how they would connect, I don't know because I don't very often work with names. But if anyone can understand so far, a lady who would have been medium or mediumistic, the name Robert, the name Neil, the name Lillian, the name Field, and this description, this wonderful toothy grin, but she is making me sit properly. She's very graceful, very elegant, very motherly, but there's a second side to her because as well as this graceful, almost imposing and austere side to her, it makes there's this moment where she just kind of like lurches forward and just gets down and dirty and does things with people and really gets involved and really, really into it and really, really, enjoying being one of the team. She's absolutely loving doing online. Somebody would have had to have helped me with the technology, but I'd have loved doing this, she says. I think it's wonderful. People should be brought together. So I know this lady was someone who liked to bring people together, someone who liked to help and support people and be of kindness and guidance to that. If anyone can please understand who this lady is other than the Queen, thank you though, Terry. That would be amazing if you could comment. I will just keep going until someone does or Richard says shut up. I keep getting drawn to the Distant Healing book, I will say that. So I do know that healing was something very important. Thank you. The other side to her, the personal, she was someone who came across as really, really confident, but in her own way, she was very quiet and withdrawn, especially towards the end of her life. Debbie Callow sounds like Lady Diana, apart from the curls. This lady was much older. I would say she would have been in her 60s, 70s, around that kind of mark. I do know that there were problems with the arms. I do know that she had a problem with her head. And I feel that those that knew her would have seen her doing this when she thought she was on her own and wasn't looking at. So I do know that she would have been into this way of life. I know that she would have been mediumistic. If she'd have done it in her own home, or whether she did it in churches or did it at whatever, I don't know. But I know she was very in tune with spirit and was absolutely enthralled by the healing side. I haven't got anybody who can understand this lady, have I?
Is Neil still on? Because you said the name Neil.
I did say the name Neil.
Yeah, I just wondered if Neil was still on. If he is, if he could understand it, because it's it sounds like sort of a medium going back that Neil may have known. From the description you've given to me, what I know about this lady, I think it might be Neil might recognise who she is.
I see. Right. Well, if he's not on, I'll just kind of wrap it up, and then you can slap him and tell him to have a look.
I will.
Slap him for leaving you. Oh, right. Okay. And Debbie Hitchcock has said, me and hubby are both in agreement. It could be Margaret Herdman, the medium, but we don't know too much of her personal life. Right. Okay. Well, thank you for that. What I will do is just kind of wrap it up, because she's got stuff to say, and I don't want to use up too much time. The way I'm sitting in my chair, it's as though I'm very, I'm holding on to the seat. I'm holding on to the arms of the chair. And I feel this is something that she would have done more towards the end of her life to steady herself, because she would have been a little bit unsteady on her feet. And this sense of poise and posture is really important, because that's what she's trying to convey to the person that she is coming through to. And it's about having that poise and posture, but not. Thank you. It goes back to the way she used to sit was how she was taught to sit. But when it comes to poise and posture, we must make it our own. We must behave in our own way. We must reflect our own self and our own higher sense of purpose, and not worry about what people think of us. She did it because she felt it was appropriate to her, but that doesn't mean to say that she would lecture people now. She would have done in her life about sitting properly and behaving, but what she wants to say is that people should learn. People should learn to be themselves, not what other people want them to be. And in particular bless you. Debbie Hitchcock says, sounds right. She was poorly towards the end, a proper lady. What she's saying is, and if this is for you, Debbie, what I will also say is that you would understand about where she's saying about holding on to the seat. It's like she's showing it me to say about you. It's almost like you're holding onto the seat of your pants, holding on, because either it's a wild ride going on or a wild ride coming, but you would know either way. It's not fortune telling when you know about it, because you know it's coming. And thank you. I don't know. You said she was poorly towards the end of the. I don't know whether you would know what the condition was, but I'm starting to feel like I am shaking, and my voice is starting to stammer a bit. So I don't know whether there would have either been a stroke, or whether it was some kind of Parkinson style condition that affected, the nerves, because I do feel very, very shaky, and so what she's saying is, I overcame because I believed in those around me and myself. Even though I wasn't always sure about myself, I was sure about everybody else. And they invested the certainty in myself. And this is what she's saying to you. Have certainty in those around you, and the rest will follow. And when she says that, there's just such a deep sense of love and compassion and genuine care for people. And I think that's really, really important. Oh, bless you. Thank you, Debbie. That's truly appreciative of you. I'm going to leave her love with you now, because that last piece of advice, let other people's faith in you carry you forward, is the main message that she wants to share today. And so I will say, God bless you, and thank you for confirming. Yes, that's Margaret. Bless you, Debbie. Thank you so much, and I'll say
That's
God bless.
lovely. Do you know, I love watching you work, Nick, the way that your mannerisms change and your tone in your voice. You really slow down, giving the sense of that lady was there and she was trying to give that message to Debbie. And that was beautiful. So
Thank you.
thank you. And I'm sure Debbie
Thank you.
will take all that on board. Oh, she just said thank you.
Yeah,
So
bless you.
so that's lovely. Okay, now as I was enjoying listening to Nick work, I was also aware of a lady that joined me, and the reason why she that she had beautiful blonde hair, really gorgeous blonde hair, and I've got what my nan used to say to me, her crowning glory, because I just feel that. But she was she wasn't that, she was probably sort of 30s or 40s. I'm not sure of her age, but she has got beautiful blonde hair. And she was lovely. She was really, she'd do anything for anybody. And I feel that she's on here to speak to a friend. I wasn't sure if it's friend or sister, or when you get like friends that have been like sisters. I've got friends that I feel that is more family than friends, and uh, male and female friends that I feel are more family, and that's what I feel. But she's got a gorgeous face, but she was one of those people that didn't realize how lovely she was. She sort of took it in her stride, and I do feel that she did try to help people, and she was there. Uh, she was there for people, and I feel that again, I feel there was some issues with her heart, something about a heart problem that sort of like got the better of her, unfortunately. And I feel that a lot of people said that she was only the good die young. And I feel that there was a lot of sentiment at her funeral. People were upset. I feel that she touched a lot of people and didn't realise it. She's just such a beautiful woman. I want to say she's just a beautiful woman, and she's sort of reaching out to say hello, because she wants to reach out to somebody because they're going through some tough times at the moment, and there's been tears, a lot of tears around this person. So I don't know if this makes sense to anybody at the moment. If you can, please comment, and if you want to come on and be part of the show, okay, nothing yet. Okay, so I'll just carry on here. Let me just see. I'm hearing the name Penny and also the name of Rita as well. Rita and Penny is connected with this lady, and I have the month of April, and I want to go. Where do I want to go for the around the 17th or 18th of April? So I feel that April is important here. She loved springtime. She loved that part of uh, the year as well. And I feel that she wasn't particularly keen on the cold weather, but she loved the springtime. And she was very vibrant in her personality, but also vibrant in her clothes. So I feel that she was one of these ladies that would have put on anything and it would have looked absolutely fabulous on her. We've all got that friend that can put on something. There was just something about her, the vibrancy about her. And could be my cousin. She died of heart problems and COVID. Okay, Lynn, if you want to come on, just say Zoom me up, Richard, and Richard will bring you on. But I just feel that she just had this naturalness about her, and she didn't realise how beautiful she was. And I feel there was beauty inside and out, because I do feel that she looked after. All right, okay, I can understand that, Lynn. So she just wants to reach out to you, because I feel that she tried to help people. But would you understand a memory of something about if you can't understand the memory, I'm going to use it as symbolically. She's picking up a bird with a broken wing. So I don't know if that's, you can remember that, where you found a bird with a broken wing. And I feel that this goes back a little bit. Yeah, she was young. Okay. I just feel this goes back a bit. And she's carrying this bird. And I feel that she wanted to try and help the bird to put it back together again. And I feel this was her personality. She wanted to try and put people back together again to help them. And she says some people come to this earth and don't spend a lot of time here, but I just get the sense that she tried to do as much as she could. Now, if you can't understand that memory, I feel that she's reaching out to you because you're like the bird with the broken wing at the moment, and she wants to reach out and she wants to help you, because I do feel she may have been your first port of call when you're going through tough times. And I feel that you shared memories and shared sort of secrets or not secrets, confidences. You would have always chatted about things, and you would have shared your thoughts about life, about situations. And she's seen you crying, and she wants to wipe away those tears, and she wants to be there for you. And she's trying to all right, okay, she understands that, she understands what you're going through, and she's saying you've just got to look forward, don't look back, because I feel that was her ethos, look forward, not back. And she's trying to say that, she's saying that you're in this sort of you're in this bubble and you can't sort of get out of it. And I feel that she wants you to think about all the wonderful qualities that you've got, because she's saying that you were strong for her when she really needed it. And now she's reaching out and being strong for you. Now, would you also understand another memory about music? We spoke about music earlier, but I can see her sort of doing like some, dance or something. And I feel that if a song came on in the car or at home or on the radio or whatever, she'd whack up the volume and start sort of dancing about. And I don't know if it's, the Steps or the S Club 7 vibe I'm getting. Reach for the Stars, the song Reach for the Stars. But that's what I feel. She wants you, she's talking about, she's talking about that. But she's saying that, she's really trying to give you support. And she wants you to, again, another song, don't look back in anger. Don't look back in anger, she's saying. She wants you to walk with your head held high, and she's trying to be strong for you. And I feel that if she was here, she'd be walking down the street and taking you off for a nice treat, because I do feel that she would have liked to have gone out. She would have liked a night out, but not just a night out, a day out as well. Because I'm also getting shopping and lunch vibe here. So I feel she's a lady after my own heart, where she would have gone out and enjoyed a girly day of nothing but just having fun and being you. Would you also understand where she felt a little bit trapped in her situation, and that's why she had to step away from it? And she's saying the same to you. She's saying, I know it's been tough, and she just wants you to think about the wonderful qualities that you have, all the wonderful things that you've done in your life. And she's saying it's a little bit daunting when you have to stand on your own 2 feet, on your own. She's saying, but you can do it. I did it, so you can do it. And look at all the wonderful possibilities that are waiting for you. So don't look back in anger, move forward. And I feel that she was a lady that would have acted daft. I know she passed when she was young, but she would have acted daft and silly, and it wouldn't have mattered what age. And she wants you to do the same. You're only as old as you feel. Be that vibrant young person again. And I just feel that she just wants you to enjoy life and go out, because you've been invited out to stuff. Um, you've been invited out to stuff and you haven't gone. Well, her advice to you is to go out there and go out there and make a new life for yourself and enjoy your life. And you know, talking from experience, because I've been there as well, the hurt will get easier. You will, you know, maybe in time there will be a friendship there, I don't know, but the hurt will become easier. But you've just got to find you and be proud of who you are, because I feel this lady wants that for you. And I feel this is what she had in her life before she passed to the spirit world. And she's laughing and she's saying, I got everything sorted and then I got ill. But sometimes there's only a short space of time that we have with the right person. But when it's right, it can feel like a lifetime, and you've got to pack as much as you want to do in your life. And she just wants to send you so much love and support at this time. So she just wants to send you that love. So thank you for working with me then. Thank you. You will do, I'm sure. You've just got to be positive. And if you want to find a new man, I'm sure you will. But, you know, you've just got to just look forward and try and make that life. Don't stay indoors. Get out there. Do new things. Try different things. Talking from experience now, that's the only thing that you can do. You've just got to make a new life for yourself and find that peace to deal with the past. That's the best way to deal with it. Be at peace with it and let it go and move forward. Thank you.
Beautiful. Absolutely stunning. And such beautiful sage advice from a really good friend there as well. I think you can't want for better than that in the situation when you got someone watching over you to be your support and your guide and your help and your friend, transcending time and space. And you know, as much as we joke about the sciencey bit, Lynn, I meant what I said earlier, and it ties in so beautifully with what you've just said. We never go back. We're always moving forward at 82 billion miles an hour. So go for it. And I'm sure she'll be lining the blokes up for you, you know, to give you the opportunity to pick one. Just take your time. That's all I can say. Take your time. Choose wisely. Choose well.
It's
Well
my
done.
pleasure to
That
give that
was
message
beautiful.
to you, Lynn. Thank you.
That was really, I agree with you, Lynn. It was amazing. Really, really was. Bless you. Well, I'm aware of a gentleman stepping forward, and he just laughed at me when I called him a gentleman. I don't feel he made a particularly great age. I do feel that he was, for the most part of his life, particularly youthful and vital, but he's not actually showing that to me now. He's showing me how he was at his passing, and I feel rigid stiff. I would go as far as to say that whatever the problem was, he was either immobilized or paralyzed. There was one point where I wasn't sure I was even going to be able to speak, because there was just this sense of stillness and immobility about him as he showed how he felt. All I'm aware of is that there was at one point where somebody was looking after him or helping him, and they mopped a tear from his eye, and doing that, they made him shed another one. And that was just such a truly deep and emotional moment. And although that person might have thought it was bad, he was actually expressing his gratitude and thanks with that, not embarrassment or upset. It was gratitude. That's the important thing that I've got to share straight away with that. He's worried about everybody else right off the bat there. I do know that physically that would have either been No, no. That's the wrong way to put it. I know there was a problem with speech at some point because I'm starting to mix my words up with him. But I know this immobility is something that was a huge impact, not just for him, but for everyone else. Because as he's now starting to shed that, I'm feeling, oh yes, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling quite athletic. I'm feeling vital. I'm feeling, and he's taking the mick. Actually, he's saying it's nice to make use of someone else and not worry about all that, because I'm full of energy, and he's certainly a lot slimmer than me, and I think he would have liked to have dressed up nice because he's loving the fact that this is a silk shirt, and he says, "Oh, that's the feel I remember. I love the silk. It feels better on him than it does me." And I'm feeling that energy come back with him because he was seen to be so energetic and vital up to that, and just loved being a part of it. I see we've got he was a beautiful young at heart fit man, and then this happened. So I've got three. I I I I've got to be honest. I think that he would have gone earlier than 50. I think he was quite young. Um, yeah, yeah, please. Um, I feel quite young with this, so I don't want to be, you know, I know 50s and 60s is still young at heart, but age wise, I still feel in the early 50s side. Um, and it's the love of dressing up, and thank you, Helen. Thank you though, for calling out. And that's two down. How quickly? So we've got Susie Selby. My dad passed at 52. He struggled to speak and was struggling with his breathing. And Danielle. Oh, hello, Daniela. My dad was sedated and couldn't speak properly as he passed and died at 50. I feel that he was conscious and aware. I did kind of almost feel locked in. I don't know whether that's an appropriate, term that would help with this, but I felt locked in, and I was still aware of people there. And whether you saw my eyes or not, it's all about that wiping away of the tear. So we're down to two again now. And I do want to say that this gentleman was thank you. Cheers, Wayne. There's something about the strength in his hands. There's so much strength in his hands. You would understand which one of you this. You would understand that although he was a bit of a go-getter, although he was young at heart, he struggled to say what he meant and what he felt. We've been very much in tune with the healing of emotion today in today's show. And although he was full of beans and full of words for the normal everyday stuff, when it came to saying things that were reasonably important emotionally, he would choke on his words and find it really, really difficult. So yeah. So the reason I'm saying this is that I think I know where I'm with now, and I think you do too. He struggled to say things, and it's although that comment that you've just made is an appropriate one, there was something that still wasn't properly said. There was something still missing, and that's why he's here, because he just wanted to say sorry. He just wanted to say sorry, and that's something he didn't say very often. Not in a way that it was so seriously emotionally meant, and that is why. Please, please, please don't be like me with your emotions. He's getting into lecture mode and excitement mode again. It's like, do not be like me with my emotions, because you are more in tune with your emotions, but you have your moments still. So don't you dare say you don't. And please, just notice that he's changing the subject, putting it all onto you, but there's this real, oh, bless you.
Oh,
I'm sorry. It is the reason for being here. I'm sorry. But that was me. That was me. But I am so, so grateful, and thank you so much, because although I couldn't feel my own emotions properly, I could always feel yours. So he's with you, he's watching, and it will clip you around the ear if you end up like him, emotionally. So just work on that one, and I'll say God bless you and thank you for listening.
oh, that was lovely. That was so lovely. It's wonderful when people realise that I wish I'd said that. And the wonderful thing is they can. They
Yeah.
can say that. And that's where the healing happens.
Yes,
Right?
truly is.
It's
Bless
sad when somebody waits all that time to actually say it at the end before they pass. But Daniela, at least he said it, and he said it
Yes.
again through Nick's mediumship, and that can give comfort and help the grief.
Yeah.
Because
So this is the
as we
strange
said
thing.
before,
My dad was like that, but I'm completely like my mother and an emotional bag of jelly when it comes to emotions.
yeah,
But dad, you could see the emotion, but he wouldn't talk about it.
yeah.
And so I
She
kind of,
just said here.
thank you
She
so
said
much. It
that.
means the world to me. He doesn't come through a lot, but when he does it, he doesn't say much either.
So much.
Yeah, I noticed that. I felt so locked in there. And it was really, really strange. I've never experienced that. But then when he took over again and was like, yes, but this is me now. I'm free. It was like, oh my God, he felt good.
Yeah.
Terry Louise just said, should always tell people how you feel, as you never know when the last time you speak to them will be. Absolutely true.
Do you
Absolutely
know
true.
what, Terry? That's so true. And Mike and I always say, I love you lots when we're leaving messages, when he goes out the door to work, and at night. And another thing that my mum always said to me, never go to bed on an argument.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
mm,
Absolutely.
mm.
Completely agree. Wow. Well, can you believe it? It's been 2 hours and we've reached the end of Let Loose.
Well, where's the
I
time
know.
gone? And I think we've let loose
Back
on lots
there.
of subjects today. We've let loose on lots of subjects today, and I hope that you've enjoyed Let Loose. And we're here every other Wednesday, but of course we'll be back on Monday with our normal Start Your Day show. So
Absolutely.
it's been absolutely wonderful to be with you all. And we've got our little sayings and our little things. Oh, she says no, stay.
Oh,
We
bless you. Thank
can't.
you,
Oh,
Claire.
that's lovely. We can't, Claire, unfortunately, but that's lovely of you to say. But we will be back on Monday, and it's just so nice to be here again and to have the opportunity to link the spirit for you to talk about stuff. And that's why I get excited about all of this.
Absolutely. Now I've got a really, because we've been playing with the puns with Let Loose, but I've got a bit of a question. Does this mean at the end of the show Richard has to tie us up?
I don't know.
Because if we're let loose, does that mean that we're tied up the rest of the week?
No.
He's got very quiet, hasn't he? I'm
No,
not
we
getting
just have
like
to
that.
we just have to behave ourselves on Monday, but we can let loose a little bit more on Wednesdays.
Yes, yes. Gonna say that's a very good point. The Monday show is very much a magazine show that's all about the features and functions of SPTV, with mediumship and chat as well, of course. But it is very much the magazine show. This one is us two, just us two. I knew I'd get a reaction there. Thank you.
Yes, it's
Hey,
just
I don't mind who
just
ties
us
me up so
two,
long as somebody does.
letting loose with our thoughts, our messages, doing the healing, and listening to your questions and having you as part of the show, which is important.
Absolutely. And of course, as it's a new show, it will continue to evolve until we get that format that we feel is right and comfortable. And I know Richard will guide us on that because he's really, really good at that. I mean, I've even redecorated my bedroom just for the purposes of it. And I know you've been working on your room because of the feedback he's given. So that brings our time this Wednesday to a close. Karen, a pleasure as always.
Absolutely. It's been lovely to work with you again, and to Richard, and also all to our wonderful SPTV family. And we'll be back on Monday with the magazine show Start Your Day. And we look forward to seeing you all then.
Certainly will. God bless. See you soon.
Bye.